All right, what's up guys? So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I made about $560 on this one trade in AMD. I'm gonna show you the exact setup that I used to make this trade happen, okay? Show you the exact breakdown so you can go ahead and do it for yourself. But I want you guys to stick into the end of the video because I have a special surprise that I'm gonna get for the people that stick until the end. Now, I'm not in my typical setup right now. I know it looks really weird. I'm currently in Poland, traveling. You can see this trade I took on Friday. I was actually in Starbucks in Spain. So a little bit of a crazy kind of day, traveling weekend, but really fun. So let me go ahead and dive right into the video. That's why you're here. So AMD, right? How to make the $600? Simply put, I was trading AMD options. Okay, now what was the basis of this trade? Where did I get in? Where did I get out? So I'm gonna explain all that, but the first thing I'm gonna do is break down entries, because entries are extremely important. And you guys are probably wondering, how do I get into my trades? How do I know when confirmation is? All that good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and break down exactly kind of how that works in this video now. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the basis, kind of the main concept of this trade was supply and demand. So you can see a nice little, demand zone down here. You can see AMD, if you look at yesterday, without looking at any other higher time frame context, nice little move yesterday, bull flag at the end. Huge gap up today. We were able to open up above yesterday's high. So it's using the gap fill as that demand zone, right? So price came down, tapped demand, ended up pushing higher. Now, there's a million ways you can trade supply and demand. I'm gonna show you kind of the best way to trade, in my opinion, what I found works best, and how you guys can use it for yourself. If you take a look at AMD, price came down into this demand. Now, the first way that most people tend to play it is to get in right here at this demand zone, stop under the lows, target the highs, or whatever it is, right? Sure, obviously in this case that would have worked, would have been a really good trade. But the thing with this is that it's always tough to really know, A, if that demand zone is going to hold, and then B, where to really put your stop, right? Do I put my stop below this low? Do I put my stop below this low? There's a lot of different variables that you're probably thinking, where do I get in with my stop? And should I even get in right as price hits demand? Have you back tested that strategy? Do you know for sure that this demand zone is going to hold? The answer is no. You're not going to know that with every strategy, right? But the important thing that I look at is confirmation, right? I look for other things that give me clues, little key points that I know price is going to continue to bounce higher. Now, a lot of people say, okay, great. If price bounces off this demand zone, I just wait for the reaction, right? A lot of people say the reaction, right? So you could zoom in on like a 5-minute chart, start to zoom out. You can be like, okay, we get the engulfing candle, right? That's a good entry for a lot of people. And maybe they end up getting in, right? When that next candle forms right about there, which again, could work, right? But then you start thinking, okay, if I'm getting in here, where would be a logical target? Where would be a logical stop? Would it be under the lows? Would it be under demand? Would it be under this low? Would it be all the way up here? Would I go for new highs, right? All of this gets really kind of crowded when you're coming up with your trade plan, when you're coming up with your decision, right? So I want to show you kind of my thought process when I went through this trade, because it can definitely help out with yours, as well as kind of break down how everything else works. Now, if you want to get my exact thought process of how I do all my trading with my proven strategies, my complete method, all of that, I left a free training down below. I'll leave in the first link in the description, so you can go ahead and check that out at the end of this video. But for now, let's get into this. We have a few minutes to go over this. So, taking a look at AMD, the biggest thing that I saw was, right, when price comes down to this demand zone, right, there's a few other indicators I look at, things like volume, things like the volume profile, balance theory, a lot of that stuff. That could take hours to go through. But for this, simply we're gonna look at trend for a second and other supply demand zones, right? So if price is coming down, right, we have small pullback here, small pullback here, another pullback here, and we hit the low. And we start seeing signs of an uptrend here, okay? Now, the thing that really spoke out to me was that what we can even do is probably even get this in a line chart. I don't have my line chart set up actually, but you get a line chart, it would look like this, right? And so if price is going to mini downtrend, if you identify that first supply zone that price breaks, that right there is your sign that, okay, now we're starting to see buyers are in control, right? If price is able to, or the buyers are able to take price above this supply zone, which I can draw just like this, then that means there may be a shift in control. And so when we see that, we can say, okay, price came down, we hit demand. That's our first sign, right? We held it. We ended up going and we broke above this demand, right? Very small 1-minute demand zone, right? A little bit hard to tell if you're on other time frames, but from here you can see it. So at this point, when price wicks above, we break this high. Now we know, okay, there's a chance that this demand zone can hold or this low can hold, and that we may want to move a little bit higher, take out some of these other liquidity highs up these 1-minute candle bars, okay? All the way up here, all the way up here. And so you can see that's essentially what I did to get in this trade, right? After I saw price break above this 1-minute supply zone, to me, that was confirmation to get in. So we got in with options. I believe I got the 103 calls expiring that Friday. So put my stop at the lows, targets a little over 101, took out these liquidity highs, and ended up profiting, taking profit up here. Okay, very, very simple trade, right? Nothing else to it. I didn't, get long right at the lows, try and catch the highs all the way up here, right? I simply waited for confirmation, waited for all the stars to align, got into the trade, exited when I should have. And you can see, ended up making about $560. And while that was going on, my Thinkorswim app was completely broken, wouldn't let me log in for some reason. But you can see, looking at here, simply got in, down to the demand, same exact setup, and made $560, and then ended up getting a frappe at Starbucks. But yeah, that was essentially the trade. And one key thing that I really want you guys to understand is really being aware about where you're getting your entries, right? A lot of people say they wait for the reaction after demand, right? And that can mean getting in all the way up here. And then it's like, okay, what kind of risk reward do I want to do? Do I get in here? Where do I put my stop? Where's the logical stop, right? A lot of people talk about, okay, maybe I get in on this pullback here, right? It's like, okay, well, you can do that. That's a pretty solid trade. But where do you put your entry? Where do you put your stop? Where do you put your target, right? How do you know that this is going to be a good entry, right? You can look at retracements. You can look at a lot of stuff. Again, a lot of stuff I have in that free training down below, kind of more specific on what exactly I look for, because it wasn't simply just supply, demand, and trend for this trade. I was looking at other factors, a lot of good stuff there. But simply having the realization that you need to have a very clearly defined strategy, right? Not just buy at demand, sell at supply, right? It needs to be a little bit more complex than that. If you just try and buy in demand and sell at supply, you're not going to be very profitable. Okay, maybe a little bit, but if you really want to take your trading to the next level, scale, and make this a full-time gig, you're going to need to get a lot more specific with it. You're going to need to backtest, see what works, see what doesn't work, or just simply use a strategy that already works. And doing that is going to get you to that next level in your trading. I can guarantee it. That's how it got me to becoming a full-time trader. And now I'm in Poland, right? I was just in Spain, and I'm actually heading to Dubai in about a week. So a lot of really cool stuff, a lot of fun, doing all this trading while I'm traveling. All of it is done within an hour a day. That's how I like to do my trading. Again, this one was done by 10 o'clock, right? First 30 minutes of the day, I'm done, $560, life-changing money, right? Especially if you can do that every day on an average or consistent basis, right? So hopefully this this video made sense to you. Again, I would definitely check out that free training I made for you in the link in the description. Going to help you out a ton. Especially when it comes to understanding what my strategy is and understanding how to actually take your trading to that next level so you can become a full-time trader. Perfect if you're unprofitable or if you're at that break-even level and you really want to get it to that next level. Definitely check that out. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what other videos you want me to make in the comment section down below. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.